Hey everyone, so this is our last unit. We are starting probability. All right, so if you just think about this logically, if you flip a coin, what are the options for what you could get? Well, I could get heads or tails. That's it, right? We know that. And we're pretty much going to assume every coin is fair. There are like trick coins out there, but we're going to kind of ignore that. All right, total outcomes is the total number of possibilities of what could happen. So if you flip a coin, 2 things would happen. So the total outcomes is 2. If I roll a die, I don't remember how to spell it. I think it is D-I-E, I think. If I roll a die, like a 6, it's 6 sides, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you have a deck of cards, there are 52 possibilities for picking a card because there's 52 decks in there, 52 cards in a deck. All right, so probability is a number that represents the chance that something can happen. The probability of something is always from 0 to 1. So I usually use fractions. You can do sorry, my brain stopped working. You can do percentages, you can do decimals, but I usually write it as a fraction. So like 2 out of 3, for instance, would be a probability. Probability of 0 means it will never, ever, ever happen, okay? So for example, if I have a die, what's the probability of rolling a 7? Well, I'll never roll a 7. That's impossible. The probability of a 1, that means it will definitely happen 100% of the time. So for example, the probability I get heads or tails when I flip a coin. Well, of course, I have to get heads or tails, right? That's a 1. That's always 100% going to happen. All right, so to find the probability of an event, the number of ways something could happen divided by the total outcomes. So I like to think about it as what I want to happen. What I want to happen divided by the total number, all right? So that's what I think about. Okay, so let's put in our little trick. What should you draw today? How about a star? Draw me a star. All right, so find the probability that a point chosen at random on RS is on TU. So what I want is TU. The total is RS. So the probability equals my total, how far is it from R to S? That's 10. What I want to happen, I want it to fall within TU. What's that distance? 5 to 7 is 2. So my probability is 2 out of 10, or 1/5. We could also write it as a percent, 20%. I usually leave it as a fraction, but 20%, 1/5. All right, so I have a 6-sided number cube or a dice. Find the following probabilities. Okay, so if I roll a die, how many outcomes are there? So 6. So the bottom is always going to be 6 for all of these. What's the probability of rolling a 5? Well, how many 5s are on a dice? There's only 1, right? There's 1 5. There's 1. You know, I'm gonna write out the number 1. There's 1 5 on a die. Okay. An odd number. So how many odd numbers? There are 3 odd numbers. Right? 1, 3, and 5. So that's 3 different possibilities. So 3 out of 6, which is at half. I usually try to simplify. A number greater than 4. How many numbers on the die are greater than 4? Well, 5 is greater than 4, and 6. So that's 1, 2. So 2 out of 6, or 1/3. Right? So the number of things we want to happen, I want to get a 5. That's only one option. I want to get an odd number. There's 3 options. I want to get a number greater than 4 over the total. All right. So really common, and you'll see this on the SAT. This is a really good one. So I didn't write in the total. You always want to find your total. So we have a survey about a rule about students driving to school. So I have 11. I'm going to add these up. 19 and 30. And notice those are equal and these are equal. So what is the probability that the student is a boy? So what's our total number? For the total amount of outcomes, 30 people were surveyed. How many of those were a boy? 13 students were boys. The probability that the person favors the rule. So again, out of 30, how many people favored the rule? Favored the rule was this, 11. All right, getting a little more tricky. The boy is a boy and favors the rule. So both of those have to be true. So I need a boy. I'm going to highlight. So a boy and favors the rule. Where's that overlap? That overlap is 4. So 4 out of 30. That one I can simplify to 2 over 15. All right, now this is the tricky one. When you see or, one or the other could be true. Whenever you see or, we're going to add, right? So again, 30 is a boy or favors the rule. Now, here's where it gets a little tricky. I'm going to make this bigger. All right. I'm going to use blue. Is a boy, so this is my boys, right? Or favors the rule. So now, what we're not going to do, you cannot add 13 plus 11 and get 24. That is wrong. Why do you think that's wrong? Because we're double counting these 4 people. Those 4 boys are being counted twice. They're in the total, and they're in the total boys and the total favor. So we're going to pick one of them, so 13 plus 7. So the answer is 20. So another way you can think about that, instead of using the totals, what we can do is just circle all the regions that we want to use. So we have a boy. So those are all the boys, and favors the rule. So those are the 3 numbers we need, 4 plus 7 plus 9. So in both cases, that's 20, which is 2/3. All right, last slide. I want you to figure this one out on your own. I think you can do this one. A bag of M&Ms contains 8 red, 6 orange, 5 green, 7 blue, 10 yellow, and 14 brown. Find the probabilities. So what's the number that we need to find? We need to find our total. So let's start with that. So I've got 8, 6, 5, 7, 10, and 14. We need to add those together. So let's see, 14. Sorry, my dog is right next to me chewing on her bone. It's really annoying. 12, 24. So 10, carry the 1, 50. So our total amount for all of these is 50. 50, 50, 50. All right, so how many are red? We want to pick a red. Well, there are 8 red. Simplify that, and I get 4 over 25. Yellow or brown. Remember, or means plus. So I have 10 yellow and 14 brown. So that's 24 out of 50, which is 12 out of 25. So just about half. And then purple. How many purple are there? That's our 0. That's never going to happen, right? The probability of picking up purple M&M, there are no purple M&Ms in a normal bag of M&Ms. That's it. So do your homework. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Be good.